Welcome to Barbara A. Lehman Stadium here at Cooper High School for Section 5, 5A football, the semifinal round matchup between the Irondale Knights and the number 2 seed, the Cooper Hawks. Hi, I'm Jay Wilcox along with Ryan Iverson. And Ryan, a great season for Cooper. They did lose their last regular season game to Spring Lake Park, but coming in 7-1. A talented team that's really put things together this year, and they've been a lot of fun to watch.
Well, they have, and you're right, 7-1, but it's always interesting. You have 7 straight wins to start the year. How do you respond after a loss? That's going to be Coach Howard's big question to his team, and sometimes that's a really good thing maybe to happen before the playoffs. If you're going to lose, you don't want to do it in the playoffs. So I think he got their team's attention. They had a bye, so they got lots of preparation. I expect them to come out executing very well tonight.
Irondale's coming on strong late in the season. They've won 3 of their last 4 games, including a playoff win over Park Center on Tuesday night. And their coach is saying that, you know, with a young team, he's kind of glad to have gotten that playoff game to get some of these guys out there, get some playoff experience.
Oh, absolutely. And you can't duplicate playoff experience. It's win or you're done, correct? You know, so for them to come off a big win over Park Center, who's had a pretty good run the last few years, that's a big confidence builder for them. So they got to come in tonight. They throw the ball extremely well. I know they like to have balance, but they're extremely successful throwing it. These two teams are familiar with each other, with Cooper having won 28-7, but it was a relatively tight ball game. So you have that also to build on. And listen, when you're young and you're building a program, win or lose, you just want something you can hang your hat on tonight. Win or lose, play hard, execute, don't beat ourselves. If we lose to a more talented team, so be it, but come out and represent Irondale really well.
Let's talk about key players to keep an eye on in tonight's contest, starting with the visitors from Irondale. Sean Sutherland's a good-sized receiver who's had a nice year for them.
Well, I was watching him in warm-ups. He's at least 6'4", 6'5". You put cleats and a helmet, he looks like he's about 6'7", great hands. He had a good game against Cooper the first time around. You know, they've thrown 13 passing touchdowns this year. He's caught 8 of them. So I think he's definitely their go-to guy. He's got good size. You know, listen, when you play Cooper, you're going to play against a bunch of athletes. They're a very athletic team. He fits that mold. He's tall, he's fast, he can jump, he can run. So they got to have him, establish him early, get him, you know, 8 to 12 catches, something like that, maybe pop a big play. That's Irondale's chance to really stay in this game tonight.
Defensively, Cooper's been a good takeaway team, and one of the guys that's really had a nice year for them at linebacker is Ante Burns.
Well, and Ante Burns, we had a game of Cooper's earlier in the year, Jay, on Channel 12. I think he had 2 rushes, 2 touchdowns, so he also plays a little bit running back. But the first game against Irondale, he had 16 tackles. He's what you call, he's a gamer. You know, he just is always around the football. He's got great instincts, and he just reads things. That's what you want in a linebacker. Good athleticism, anticipation. He's always around the ball. You know, you stop Irondale's running game, make them one-dimensional. That's when you get a good pass rush and interception. So he's going to be a big part of that Cooper Hawks defense tonight.
Burns, one of 3 guys with 4 or more interceptions this season for Cooper as well. Well, I asked Coach Howard, you know, any chance your guys, are you worried about them overlooking this game to get to Spring Lake Park? He said absolutely not, but I think the proof's going to be on the field tonight.
And again, it goes back to, I think it helps that they lost that last game, that you have your team's attention. When you're 8-0, or 7-0 and you're undefeated, you start reading and believing all the hype that's being said about you. Then you have a chance for overlooking an opponent like this. When you're coming off a loss, knowing Coach Howard like we do and knowing how intense he is, these guys are not overlooking. They're going to play like this is their Super Bowl. And I know they want that rematch with Spring Lake Park, but you got to crawl before you walk. You got to walk before you run. You got to win here tonight against Irondale at home to set up a really good showdown next week with Spring Lake Park.
We've had some rain throughout this afternoon, but things seem to be settling down in that regard. Looks like we'll have a pretty dry night for football here. Stay tuned. It's the Section 5 5A semifinals. Irondale and Cooper up next.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
And welcome back here to Cooper. As we said, a nice night for football. Not as warm as Friday night as you and John had over at Champlain Park. That was almost perfect weather, but the rain seems to have settled down, and you know, really weather not going to be any impact on tonight's game, which you kind of like to see at playoff time. I mean, let's face it, nobody likes to be out in the downpours.
No, and you hate the elements to maybe decide the outcome, right? When a better team maybe doesn't win because of that, but at the same time, they're the same elements for both teams. They got a nice turf field here. We saw last night, too, at Champlain Park. The turf was pretty slippery and getting ripped up. So should be a nice game here tonight.
Cooper's going to get the football first here as Connor Mann gets set to kick it off for the Knights.
Well, we saw last night, too, in our playoff game, a kickoff return to start the second half for Champlain Park really kind of set the tone for the second half. Cooper's got an excellent kicker that has a touchback in over 50% of his kickoffs. So we'll see if Irondale's got a good kicking game. And, you know, it's always nice to get that first big play under your belt. And sometimes in the kicking game that can happen. And it really kind of dictates the course of the game.
Borden and Sproles back deep. So Mann will put his foot to it here for the Knights. And he's going to keep it on the ground, thinking just what Ryan said, don't give him something big to start it out. And brought out over the 35-yard line, though, so Cooper's still going to get good field position. Yes, it's not the breakaway run, but Dante Burns.
Yeah, I like that idea there. You keep it on the ground, and even though you're given maybe 15 yards of field position, you're eliminating that big play threat. And so now it's Cooper to get this to start the game, and you know what you look for in that first drive is setting the tone. You want that big offensive line that Cooper has, being physical, set the tone for the rest of the game. And if you're Irondale, same thing on defense.
Cameron King handing off. First down carry to the left side. It's C.J. Adams picking up a short gain for the Hawks. And you mentioned the veteran, big and pretty talented offensive line for Cooper, anchored, of course, by Eric Aboje, the left tackle, a Gopher recruit. Tony Madison's also a very good one at the a guard spot and a veteran player. So that was really the bulk of what they did bring back this year. And that's a good feeling when you know that coming in that you've got a solid offensive line that's going to give you good protection and pretty good run block. Thrown out into the flat on the left side. Hard hits delivered, but hanging on. Squeezing that one was Jordan Brown for the Hawks, and he will be out near the first down, but just short. Look at the starting lineup for the Hawks after that 7-yard gainer.
Well, and I'll tell you, you get back to your point, Jay, about that starting, big offensive line is you got great balance if you're Cooper. You saw, C.J. Adams with over 1,600 yards. They're very effective passing the football. They just got really good balance. And as a defense, that's hard to guard. There's a first down run on 3rd and short.
Adams picking it up pretty easily there. So you get a look at the defensive starters for the Knights as football on their 48. They felt, their coach Ben Fuller said, we played actually reasonably well defensively against Cooper the first time around. It was offensively that we needed to execute a little better and protect the football.
Well, in Irondale, you look at their starting front four, they got good size too, averaging about 265 pounds. So it's going to be a really fun battle in the trenches to see who wins that.
King firing complete, and look out. This one might go. Pedro Amosu all the way down the sideline is gone for a touchdown. 52 yards. The throw itself was maybe 10 or so, but look at the Jets turned on by Amosu, and it's a touchdown.
Well, it looked like Amosu got fired out of a cannon there. Watch this nice, easy, quick throw for Cameron King, and then there's just 3 defenders around him, and Amosu just fires right between them. Great speed. And we talked, Jay, in the pregame about the athleticism of Cooper, and it's really at every position, every skilled position, from quarterback to running back, wide receiver, slot receiver. They have the ability to take it to the house every time they touch it, and that's where Irondale got to be sure tacklers and wrap them up.
And Eddie Ogamba on to attempt the extra point, and it is no good. So a touchdown strike, they missed the extra point, but still Cooper takes an early 6-0 lead, only a minute 52 into the contest.
Again, you saw good balance, a couple of runs, a couple of easy throws for Cameron King, and that time they spread them out, and that's what you call a dig route. It's just a nice 10-yard comeback, easy throw and catch, probably just trying to pick up the first down. Instead, lightning strikes, and they get 6 out of it. And, you know, if you're worried about how Cooper was going to respond coming out of the bye, you could tell they were pretty sharp on their first offensive possession.
Coach Howard referring to this as a really mature group, and he felt like the seniors that graduated last year, their influence has stuck around because of the way they were pretty businesslike too. And you know, they've done a nice job of creating expectations within this program, and you know, not just looking at wins and losses, but just some of the other things. Even in school, you know, they had a nice story about them, you know, the dressing up for it, for school days and things like that.
No, and that stuff is important. And what it is, Jay, is when you start playing for someone other than yourself, right? You're playing not only for your teammates, but the classes before you, the classes that are coming up. You're building a program, and Coach Howard, I think, has really done that, or begun to do that here at Cooper, and that's how you get, you know, year after year built up success.
Ogamba has a very strong leg, and this one is going to land right at the goal line. It's a touchback as the Knights watched it go. So it will be Irondale football for the first time as they start out at the 20, trailing it already 6-0. Not a great feeling when you're first time getting the ball, you're already down.
No, and you don't want that feeling like, hey, we got to score to stay in this, right? Ideally, obviously, you want your defense to get you the ball 0-0, and then you're feeling like you're playing with a little bit of house money. Instead, you're down 6-0, really quick strike like that. There's Brendan White, their quarterback, who's had a really phenomenal year. My only worry with him is his completion percentage. You see it's at 45%. You'd like to get that number in the low 60s, high 50s, but he's going to have to be accurate tonight because there's some ball hawks in that Cooper secondary.
Hand off right side here to Clark, DeAndre Clark, taking that one and picking up pretty good gain out over the 25. And a pickup of about 5, maybe 6 for the Knights. Looks like it'll be a 5-yard gain for Clark. And here's the look at the rest of the offense. And Ty Cobb, that's an interesting name. You don't see that on too many high school rosters.
He was a heck of a baseball player in his younger days.
Yeah, Tyheen Cobb, this one is 6'3", 265, and a junior. White going to run this one himself, and he is brought down. Nice tackle there for the Hawks. As getting up to wrap him up was Dominic Guiwan, one of the defensive ends, and a short pickup. He'll give him a couple on that play. And Coach Fuller said White has kind of found his game as a runner a little bit more now too. He said he's not super shifty, but decent speed, and as you get a look at that Hawks defense, and you know they're itching to get back on the field after giving up 57 against Spring Lake Park too, because they've been a good defense all year long. Here's White dropping to throw, and almost intercepted. Getting his hand on that one, drifting back in coverage, was Aaron D'Souza, and he's been a pick specialist this year, and he nearly had one right there.
Yeah, and again, we talked about it in the pregame, Jay. I think Irondale's got to maintain their running game so they don't become one-dimensional. Here's a 3rd and 4, probably a passing situation. You can see these Cooper Hawks, they are flying to the ball knowing, hey, and that ball's in the air. They got the athleticism to go make a play. You know, and this is where you get in trouble when you're on the road like this. You give up an early score, you go 3 and out. You're going to give Cooper the ball here on a short field.
White is the punter as well here. And it's going to bounce away, but a gambling grab there by Phoenix Sproles. And look out, down the sideline he goes. Sproles stays in bounds. Fights through a tackle and finally shoved out down near the 13-yard line. A lot of people wouldn't have been willing to make that gamble on that bouncing ball, but Phoenix Sproles said, no problem, and nearly took it all the way.
Well, that's one of those, you better be darn sure that you're able to pick that up, because if, you know, that football bounces funny, it can bounce right off your hands or your feet. Instead, he takes a gamble, and it certainly paid off. And, you know, God, watch how quick and fast he is. He gets to that outside. You know, and again, some poor tackling here by Irondale right there. They got to wrap him up there at the 22, 23. Instead, he gets an extra 10 yards, and he sets up his offense in great field position.
A 52-yard return, so they will be at the 12-yard line of Irondale. King and company, but we are going to get a flag flying. Our first penalty of the game will be an offside against Cooper. Encroachment call, so mark off 5 against the Hawks.
And Irondale's fortunate there because there was quite a gap for C.J. Adams. He would have been able to walk into the end zone. I think, you know, Jay, of all the teams I've seen play this year, Cooper might be the most well-balanced, right? Their quarterback, I was watching Cameron King in warm-ups. He's got a phenomenal arm, and he throws a great ball. They got so much speed to the outside, but C.J. Adams up the middle is an excellent running back. They got that big offensive line. They're very, very tough to defend.
King fires complete to Gordon, and inside the 5, he is wrestled down. And it will be short of a first down, but a nice completion with a little bit of traffic around. They'll spot it on the 4-yard line.
And that's a play where Irondale, that ball's in the air. That was a little bit thrown behind Damian Gordon, and that's where they got to make a play, right? That's where they got to be opportunistic here, try to get a takeaway, maybe get the momentum back on their side. Instead, Damian Gordon, 6'4", he's got great size, goes up and gets it and sets him up with great second down here.
Second and a couple. Adams takes the handoff, a little shake and bake to the left side there, and be close to the first down here. Nice to see, too, you know, we had a chance to see, obviously, Damian Gordon, Ante Burns, guys like that, playing so well in the section playoffs in basketball last winter, too. And you know, it's nice to see that there's guys that are still, you know, not specializing. I mean, it's tough to have enough really good athletes throughout your school if they all only play one sport.
No, and I've always been a big believer you play multiple sports because you know what, they all benefit each other, right? You're competing, you're staying in shape, you know, the hand-eye coordination, the skills, the footwork, all that stuff benefits each sport.
Back to Adams, and he is going to get in for the touchdown. A 3rd and 1 play, and Adams punches it on in from about 3 yards out. And Cooper able to capitalize on the Sproles punt return and couldn't ask for a much better start as they've scored twice already here early in this game. Look at that great move there. There was a penetration right away, and Adams just made
slippery
miss in short space there.
Well, you get penetration in the backfield, especially on a goal line situation, you got to wrap up. Instead, C.J. Adams really shifty, able to get through there. And once he got to the line, his line had opened up a nice big hole. They got great push. You know, and that's it. The size of that offensive line, especially on 3rd and short. How many times, Jay, do you see teams that, you know, can't get that extra yard? At Cooper, what a great feeling to know, hey, I'm going to run behind these 280, 290-yard pound offensive linemen.
And sometimes you can get fooled by saying, well, size, but size that can play is what they've got.
No, and you know, Willie Howard, I think, sets that tone. You know, he was a big, strong, physical football player. And, you know, the old cliche of you take on the personality of your head coach, it's absolutely true. There's a look at Willie Howard. He looks like he could go out there without pads and still play. And you hear him in warm-ups, he's fired up. His team is fired up. And what I love, too, about Coach Howard is he pays a lot of attention to detail. And he's gotten these kids to buy into that. And they're technically sound. Their footwork is sound. They're not just big and sloppy. They are big, and they are technically sound. Obviously, having a recruit go to the Gophers and some other great size on that line as well.
Ogamba got that second extra point through after missing the first one, and he will kick off again. He had a touchback last time. Cooper, a fantastic start, already leading this one by a score of 13-0. And once again, they're going to let that one sail into the end zone. So a touchback coming up, and it will be 1st and 10 from the 20 for Irondale, who they went 3 and out the first time around. And then Cooper had a good punt return to set him up for a second score.
Yeah, and when you're in playoff football, I mean, it's a cliche, but there's 3 phases of football. You got your offense, your defense, special teams. And right now, Irondale, there's Ben Fuller, hasn't won any phase of them, giving up the big punt return and special teams. Defensively, not able to slow Cooper down at all. Offensively, this is where they're going to have to pick up those other 2 phases and try to get a drive going here.
White takes the snap here, looking out to his right, and incomplete. They got a little tangle, but I think the ball was over the head of the receiver by that point anyway, as Brown got his feet tangled up there with Jacob Zwig.
What I don't like about that short throw, Jay, is that was about a 3-yard throw, but look at how far that ball had to travel, right? That's a long throw for a quarterback for a 3-yard gain. If you're going to take that kind of a throw, I'd like to see it more down the field. You know, it comes risk reward.
Yeah, and Coach said that they do like to take some shots because they need to get people to back off a little bit. And here's White running the football. Cooper trying to rip it away. Hit first there by Ivory Jones, one of the linebackers. And it will be a pickup of 6, maybe 7, and they're going to come up quick.
Yeah, that was a big play. Now you set up a 3rd down and manageable, right? Instead of 3rd and 10, you get 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. And Brendan White's shown pretty good success so far with that quarterback draw, just following right behind his offensive line. And he's a big kid. He's 6'4", 190 pounds, able to get that pile moving forward.
White slinging it out to the left, and it is complete. And that will be good enough for the first down as he hooks up with Aiden Price.
Well, and I think that's a big catch. That's a big confidence boost, right? You get your first completion on a 3rd down. They need to sustain a drive. That's how you do it. Excellent job by Aiden Price. Look at him going up, catching that ball at its highest point. He's 6'1", and again, we talked in the pregame about Sean Sutherland, number 88. Big 6'4" target that Cooper's going to pay a lot of attention to him. Someone else is going to have to maybe step up.
White throwing it out in the flat, and it is complete, but Brown helps to break that one up, and then being driven back is Arias Sears. The forward progress will put him back at about a 1-yard pickup only, it looks like, on that play, if that.
Well, that was a heck of a play by Jordan Brown. He's fighting off. That's a quick wide receiver screen there, and Jordan Brown fought off his receiver that was blocking him in a pinch and went back and made a nice form tackle. That's how you wrap up. Let's see if we can see this. Before the snap there, you see him fighting off that tackler right there. That is not an easy play. That's an athletic play. Look at him holding on to that leg, too. Great play by Jordan Brown.
So 2nd and 9 here for Irondale after a very short pickup. White going to run this one himself, and he runs into trouble, and he runs into trouble in the name of Demetrius Miller, who slings him to the ground there after a short pickup. Well, he's going to be back to about the line of scrimmage is all.
Well, remember, Jay, how I was telling you that Brendan White's a big guy? Well, guess what? He's not as big as Demetrius Miller, 320 pounds. You're not going to win that battle very often.
Oops, we got movement on the right side of the line there as Ty Cobb will be whistled for that penalty.
That was interesting. I was going to see who they thought went first on that time because there was movement on Cooper's side of the ball, and sometimes if it happens simultaneously, it's usually going to go against the offense, and that looked like that's what happened there. 3rd and 15 with a good pass rush. This is where draws and screens, middle screens, wide receiver bubble screens, those kind of plays are what you want to look out for if you're Cooper. You'll give up 5 to 8 yards, but you can't give up that 15-yard play.
White throwing deep down the middle, and it's intercepted. Picked off for the Hawks by Ante Burns, and Burns has a chance to go, and he's going to score. Touchdown, Burns. There is a flag on the play. It's a personal foul, roughing the passer against Cooper, so it will not count.
I was just about to say, did we pick the right guy for our pregame spotlight or what, Jay? Little ball fake, play action. This ball just a little bit underthrown, and Ante Burns does a nice job playing that lane. And what I love is guys that get the ball, and then they're not happy with just getting the interception. They're trying to score. Look at him return. Can you tell he might play some running back as well? He knows what to do with the ball in his hands. What a big penalty as a late hit on the quarterback. Going to negate that score, and it's also going to be a first down for Irondale. So what a big turn of events.
Boy, Burns did such a nice job of reading that route. I mean, he basically was running the route underneath it and picked it off. But it was hard to tell. Obviously, we follow, kind of looking at the ball going upfield, but it did appear that there was nobody close enough to White that he still should have been hit. And apparently that was what the officials said as well. Now Irondale will be whistled for a false start. So wipe out an apparent touchdown return for Ante Burns. You're always, whether it's high school football or college or professional, you're eager to get those hits on the quarterback and it's hard to not follow through and finish.
It is, because you work so hard play after play, and you're close, and but it's just that discipline. You can't do it. You end up costing your team, in this case, 6 points.
Handoff on the draw here. Nice job of bringing him down by Kwiwan, as handled there by DeAndre Clark.
You know, Jay, another thing I always think is important in playoff time is what changes do you make offensively, right? You've had a whole season of game tape, so everyone's gotten to see what routes you run. You got to change things up a little bit. Right now, it seems like Cooper knows all these routes. They've had guys underneath the routes, over the top of the routes.
And this pass will sail incomplete, looking for Sutherland that time.
Well, it's the second time we've seen a receiver for Irondale slip as the ball was coming. You know, your initial thought is there had to be contact, but sometimes you just slip, especially with a wet field. You know, you got to be tricky. That's pregame so important. You got to get your footing down, understanding how to plant in this. You can see the ball goes up, and there might have been a little bit of contact there, but certainly I don't think anything to warrant a flag.
I agree. You saw in the background a couple Irondale guys signaling, but it looked more like he had just slipped on his own. And, you know, certainly there was a player there, but White dropping to throw, the rush coming. He gets it away. Nice catch by Clark, but he is going to run out of room, and he is blasted out of bounds there. And they'll be way short of the first down, as they'll pick up about 3, maybe 4 on that play.
Yeah, really well defense. Again, 3rd and 12. You'll give up that pass underneath. You can see the rush coming. A really well executed screen. Great athletic catch, too, by Clark, and he just gets outside. And then there was a pop at the end. It looked like Cameron Kipper came up from the secondary. And again, you worry about those kind of hits because then a lot of times they look bad. You worry about getting a shot to the head penalty. But either way, Cooper does their job. They're going to force a punt. Whoa.
And that one did not pay off for the Knights. They'll pick up a couple, but not nearly enough for the first down. And so Cooper will take over in Irondale's end of the field. You know,
I love the idea of going for it there, but that's where keep your offense out and run a play that they're used to running. That kind of trickery, it's got to be the absolute perfect call at the perfect time, and everything's got to go perfectly for it to work. You know, I'd rather, with a great quarterback, some big receivers, I'd rather take a shot with my quarterback down the field. And maybe you get a penalty, maybe you get a late hit, whatever could happen. And instead, they're giving the ball back to Cooper on a very, very short field. Again, down 2 scores already.
At the Irondale 48, they turn and hand it off left side, and a well-blocked opening here. It'll be a pickup of about 9 on the play for Noah Hill.
Yeah, big number 65, Adam Cook. He's a guard, 290 pounds. He was a right guard. He got out in front of that. He was pulling, and you got 290 pounds coming at you. Not only got to take him on, but also try to make the tackle. That's a hard ask at the high school level. Watch big number 65 coming around the corner there. He eats up about 2 Irondale defenders, and that's an easy run. Sets up a nice 9-yard gain on first down.
Hand off to Adams, right side, and Adams into the secondary, getting a block and ridden down there by the Knights, Duncan Osindo. But it'll be a first down with ease for Cooper there.
Well, C.J. Adams, again, over 1,600 yards, and he's a great running back. Look at his vision. He gets outside, but look at his guys downfield. Look at Jordan Brown, number 9, downfield blocking 15 yards down the field. He's just got great speed. That start, you know, running back's ability to stop and start and get up to full speed. He's one of the best of them. He's a fun running back to watch run the football.
First down on the Knights, 23. Cooper trying to extend a 13-0 lead. Ooh, and Adams this time not much doing there as he is met and dropped in a hurry there for Irondale by a big Ronnie Trask, the 6'4", 270-pounder.
Yeah, big boy right there. A nice tackle. And you get the feeling Cooper's having success running. You get the feel there might be setting up a play action or a shot down the field. Some of these Irondale secondary starting to creep into that box. Look at how many guys they have right there. 8 guys in the box. I wouldn't be surprised here to see them dial up something down the field.
Second and long here, King. And this one will be whistled down before the play as a legal procedure call against the Hawks. So it'll be a second down and 15 as we get a look.
It looked like I can't tell what number, the right running back there. It looked like he got started. Is that number 24?
Yeah.
Yeah, Borden. It looked like just started about a split second early.
So second and along 15 here for Cooper. King looking downfield left side, and the pass is complete as he threads it through to Brown, and he will be inside the 10, and a 1st and goal coming up here for the Hawks.
Yeah, interesting. They're going trips to that top, that left side of the formation. You can see only 2 Irondale defenders, and when you got 3 receivers and 2 defenders, you can really take your pick, and that ball getting hung in the air. Number 25 for Irondale, Sergio Hernandez. He's a linebacker. He's got to get depth. You know how we saw Auntie Burns playing with that interception he had? He's got to get a little bit deeper to take those underneath throws away.
1st down here, and they'll go sweep to the right side with Hill. Nice pursuit, though, to bring him down. Eric Osowski able to drag him down. Not much of a gain there, if any, for the Hawks. 2nd and goal.
Yep, Cooper, they're running that read option. Don't be surprised, too, if Cameron King doesn't fake one of those and keep it himself. We've seen him do that earlier this year, and he hasn't done it yet. Defense starts to get accustomed to that running back getting it every time, and it's a perfect situation for him to just keep it, see if the defense goes for it.
2nd down and goal to go here for Cooper. King faking it now, throwing left side complete. Brown has it stripped away, and a scramble for it. It looks like they're going to call it a completion and then a fumble, and it will be Cooper recovering it. So 3rd and goal coming up, as Brown did make the catch and then had it raked free.
Yeah, let's take a good look at that. I don't know if that was necessarily a completion here. You know, that could be pretty questionable. In the NFL rules where you got to actually have possession of it, take a step, that's a close one. You know, that's funny. That's where Cooper's arguing it was definitely a catch, but if they had lost that fumble, it was incomplete. You can't win. But, yeah, a nice play call, rolling to your left. Now watch, there's a big opening here to the right side of the field. I wouldn't be surprised to see C.J. Adams coming to the right side of that formation. Timeout
taken by Cooper here, with 14 seconds to go here in this 1st quarter, as Cooper a little bit slow getting that play in, and I don't think they were sure if they were going to be able to let the time run out to the end of the quarter or not. You know, you obviously don't have a play clock up in high school stadiums to really focus in on that. So I think obviously a good idea to take that timeout. Get a look at the Section 5 tournament, and haven't really seen upsets to speak of at all, and no surprises to see Spring Lake Park winning in their semifinal, and they'll be hosting the winner of this game then for the section title.
Actually surprised that that margin, 35-14, wasn't bigger against St. Louis Park. Spring Lake Park they've put up a couple of 50s and I think even a 60-point game earlier in the year. So St. Louis Park, give them credit, playing a hard game tonight. That's a competitive game. And I'm sure there's some Spring Lake coaches here in attendance tonight watching this game.
3rd down and goal here for Cooper as they try and make it a 3-score lead at the end of the 1st quarter. Play action, and King's going to throw it into the back of the end zone and incomplete. Just trying to get his steps right to get up and make a leap at it was Brown, and he kind of stumbled, and it'll end up as an incompletion, and it looks like they'll probably go for a field goal.
Yeah, and if you're going to miss, you want to miss long, but if you look at that, all that Cameron King has to do is lead Jordan Brown more to the right, not deeper. There was no one else towards the sideline there, and let him run under it. And Jordan Brown was about to make his jump and realized he was at the out-of-bounds line. So a nice call, and they're going to keep their offense on the field here and go for it. Yeah, they've got a good kicker, but they're saying, you know what, we're close enough here, and even if we don't make it, we'll give Irondale the ball inside the 5, but they're confident they can punch this one in. Yep, they're spreading them out. King's going to run it himself, and he dives, and let's see, there's a flag on the play, too. I think they're going to say his knee was down. Yeah, I think you're right. But let's take a look at the flag here as well.
And it looks like it might be an illegal formation called against Cooper.
But here's the question. On 4th down, if he's short of the end zone, watch his knee.
You
You see his knee touch.
I believe you're right. I don't think he made it.
If they call him short, you decline that penalty. Instead, they're going to...
Maybe they're saying it was a pre-snap penalty and
maybe you don't have the option,
not declinable. Interesting. Now they are going to go for a field goal as Ogamba will come on. It would be a 25-yard attempt. Pedro Amusu, the holder. Kick is up, and it is, well, let's see. They went through, but the horn sounded before the snap, it looked like. Well, the kick was no good.
Well, the horn clearly sounded before that kick, or before that ball was snapped, didn't it?
That's what I thought. And now they're explaining it to Coach Howard. Which obviously, if that were the case, then we would just move to the other end and try the field goal. I guess I just assumed this ball had gone through, but
it did go through.
Let's see the signals. Yeah, they're saying good. Well, I think what we're going to have happen is they're going to kick it at the other end. Yes, they're saying they did not say field goal no good. They said end of quarter, I think, is what the signal was. So we have reached the end of one. It is 13-0, and Cooper is presumably going to have a field goal try to begin our second quarter. We'll be right back here at Cooper.
The color in my garden keeps the pink in my cheeks. I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels. They're my savior. My name is Lola Silvestri. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Welcome back, and indeed what we were saying at the end of the quarter is true. It was not a missed field goal. He definitely made it, but the snap came after the clock had reached 0 to end the first quarter. So now Ogamba has to try it again at the other end. A little bit of a high snap, and his kick is no good. He pulled it left, and you always kind of wonder, you hate to have to redo it. Is there a flag down?
Yeah,
Looks
I
like
think
there
they're going to
is.
get running into the kicker there. Or the holder. Personal foul.
Yes. So it's going to be a first down for Cooper as they are called for personal foul running into kicker.
Yeah, you can see kind of a high snap, and then you see there at the end, it looked like it was Parker Freeberg came in late and running into the kicker, and that's going to be a first down. What a big penalty. Freiberg.
So instead of first what looked like a made field goal, now what looked like a missed field goal, it's going to be Cooper first down and goal to go as they will try and stretch this 13-0 lead.
Let's see if he gets C.J. Adams.
He does take the handoff, and he will go in for the touchdown. So, interesting turn of events there as Cooper thinking they had 3, then thinking they had nothing, and now instead they'll get 6 out of it as Irondale called for the running into the kicker penalty. And Freiberg was kind of a little bit of an unfortunate one. He was sort of off balance and stumbling toward him. It wasn't anything real blatant, but at the same time, you have to protect the kicker on that kind of thing.
And the other thing, too, is Ogamba was actually a couple yards ahead of his kick when he finished. So really interesting call. And the other thing we want to go back to, too, is remember that 4th down where there was a penalty? You wonder if that was short, if they had the opportunity to decline it or not.
Going to go for 2. King rolling to the right, now looks back left and throws that way, and he will find his man Gordon coming back to meet it. So the 2-point conversion is good, and Cooper gets back on schedule, if you will, with the extra points, getting a 2 there after missing one earlier, so they will lead 21-0.
How about Cameron King? Great vision. That was a play going to the right. His receiver was doing an in-out where he goes in and then he goes outside. He slipped and fell. Here's a look at that kick. I want you to watch Ogamba. After he kicks it, look at him go. I mean, he's a good 2 yards ahead. Oh. You know, usually you get that penalty when you're diving to try to block and you run into the kicker. And here's the touchdown run, C.J. Adams right up the middle. And again, you see his knee down too. You know, obviously we don't have the benefit of replay, but I would say he was a good foot or two short by the time his knee touched. But back to that 2-point conversion, Cameron King focused solely on the right, had the wherewithal then to go back to his left, and he found Damian Gordon with a nice throw and a great diving catch.
Joseph Frischman and Arias Sears back deep for Irondale. They've not had a chance to return one yet, but Ogamba is kicking the other direction. We'll see if he's able to reach the end zone one more time here. So Cooper leading at 21-0. So much for the theory of will they be rusty here after having that bye. And it's going to be taken by Frischman here. First return opportunity for the Knights, and he will be brought down a couple yards past the 20 at about the 23-yard line, and Irondale will get the football back here, and now trailing it by 3 scores here already early in this second quarter. And their offense, you know, you talked about the first time that they don't want to feel like, you know, you have to score, but they obviously need to get some things going. Yeah, and even if they don't score, Jay, they need to sustain a drive, put some first downs together, change the field here. The field position has been all Cooper. You know, a 4th down, that fake punt, they got a short field. The turnover, a short field. So if nothing else, you got to make Cooper work and earn their next trip on offense. You got to put together a couple of nice plays here. White throwing it deep down that left sideline, but well covered and incomplete as he looked to go long down the field to Price. Well, there's no question about Brendan White's arm strength as he had that ball. That was really well thrown. He actually overthrew him. He had that ball a good 50 yards in the air, so he's got the arm strength to go deep. I like the idea. You know, in 2nd down and 10, this is where you got to think you got to get 6-7 yards, set up a 3rd and manageable. You're not going to get 21 points back in one play, but you got to keep moving those chains. Hand off left side and nothing doing there. As be 3rd down and long, stacked up there was Freiberg taking that handoff. And he lost about a yard, it looks like. There's Daniel Summers running off the field. Look at that big cast on his right hand. He was holding that. I've played with those. You got a lot of pain going on. You think it's protected, but it hurts. Anytime you get a helmet on that or some clubs on that, that's not a fun feeling. You got to give him the toughness award here. Well, Irondale going to be called for a false start there. They had a little trickery working, and boy, you hate to have to give that play to give it away. Yeah. Now if you're Cooper, you're telling your guys, watch the trick play. So you're absolutely right, Jay. You don't want to spoil it. It was a little end around here with pitch. Yeah, the running back got a little bit of an early start there. So 3rd down and long here for Irondale, 3rd and about 16. Obviously, like we said, not only they want to get a couple of first downs, but you know, give their punter a little room if nothing else here. But so far it hasn't worked out that way. White looking to throw, pretty good time, airs it out right. It's really a jump ball. And almost intercepted there as it's off the hands of Isaac Amusu there, and it will fall incomplete. Ball just kind of really tossed up for, let's see, maybe make a play on this, but. Well, that's where Sutherland's got to time his jump here. He keeps falling down, and he's looking for pass interference. There's no contact there. He's just falling down. You got to get yourself in a position, you know, and he's made so many plays this year, 6'4". Throw it up to him, have him go make a play. That's not a bad play call. I like the idea. They just need their guys to start jumping and making plays. White's kick, it's going to be Sproles at the 45. Gets a block and another, and it's a flag down though. This one's coming back. That second block was not clean, and it will bring Cooper back to around midfield or into their own end even.
He's electric, isn't he? He's like Darren Sproles when he was just electric. He's got great speed. He just smooth too. He doesn't look like he's moving that fast, but he's in a different gear.
There's a second flag that came down right near the spot of the tackle. So
when they got him up by the head there, I'm wondering if that's part of it as well.
you see he gets one block right there, but then the second one I think's a hold. Yeah,
right there.
Right.
There's going to be the hold.
Real hold.
There's another block there in the back. I don't think they're going to get the tackle. I think you're going to have two blocks against Cooper that are going to negate this. Right before he got tackled, right before Sproles did, there was another block that looked to be in the back as well, or to the head, one of the two.
You got a hold and a personal foul head contact against Cooper. And the holding is accepted because of it happened so far back. Yeah.
Yep.
Spot foul there. So, and a pretty real obvious
right
hold.
There's the hold.
No, I don't think so. It's the second
this
one right there. Yeah.
That one. And he really didn't need to, right? Sproles was already outside.
Yeah, you're right. It was a pretty high tackle, but it was a block away from that. That was the second penalty. So anyway, Cooper will end up with the ball right about where Sproles caught it. It'll be on their own 46. Still real good field position, just not quite as good as it seemed like it might be.
Yep.
Now getting everything situated here as far as where this penalty took place. And we are set to go here as King and the Cooper offense back out there with a 21-0 lead. And go with the handoff on the right side here to Borden. And he is stacked up short of the line of scrimmage as that one's well defended by the Knights.
Yeah, really well defended. A little jet sweep, a little more pre-snap motion. And what you have to do against speed is you got to set the edge of that defense. You can't let them get outside. We've already seen C.J. Adams get outside. And that time I thought Irondale did a really good job. There's nowhere for him to go. Right there. You can't allow him to get outside. You cut him back and look at the pursuit coming down the line. Excellent defensive stop there by Irondale.
Mahir ends up finishing him off there. It was a loss of 1 for Cooper, 2nd and 11. They're a little slow getting out of the huddle, so now hurrying it up. And they will get it off. King looking left, throwing, and it looks like it'll be complete to Amusu, just into Irondale territory. Not a tremendous gain, but a nice gain nonetheless, as they'll get it into Irondale territory, about a 6-yard pickup.
Yeah, 6-yard gain and about a 25-yard throw. But I'll tell you what is impressive is Cameron King's accuracy. I mean, that ball was thrown right on the money. If that throw is 2 feet behind him, that's an interception, maybe a pick six. That ball was put right on the money. Cameron King, I'm telling you, I watched him, Jay, for a good half hour pregame, and his balls were just beautiful. The way he threw the football was absolutely accurate and a beautiful spiral too.
And throwing deep downfield here, wide open is Sproles. Did he get it? Yes, he did. Had to tightrope that sideline, and it will be good for a first down for the Hawks. Down to the 23-yard line.
Yep, nice read by King. They had guys going down the middle, and they left the outside lane there for Sproles open. You can see it looked like he landed, his butt was inside that line when it came down. So a big throw down the field. And kind of what you're feeling now is they're softening that defense up, and that's where you can expect some C.J. Adams running the football.
And that's what we see here, although that one didn't work out so well as he was dropped there by Sergio Hernandez. No gain on that one for the Hawks.
Yeah, Irondale's done a better job here of kind of stopping the run here the last drive and a half. But unfortunately, that Cooper's got the ability to then throw the ball. And Again, it goes back to that balance, defending balance, being able to run and throw the football equally as well. It's tough on the defense because you don't know where to stack up on, especially when you got athletes all over the field like Cooper does.
Yeah, they got, multiple good receivers too. Firing out in the flat, complete here to Sproles, and he'll be brought down a little shy of the 15, so not enough for the first down. But it'll leave him a third down and about 3, maybe 4 on that play.
Yeah, I mean, you got, C.J. Adams out of the backfield, Damian Gordon. We've seen Sproles, we've seen Amusu have the touchdown catch. I mean, those are really athletic guys.
Jordan Brown, too.
Jordan Brown is a great receiver. I mean, they got him all over the field, and you combine that with that offensive line. They give Cameron King plenty of time. He hasn't been under pressure at all, so he's able to just stand back there and allow, the time to give his receivers to get open.
3rd and 4. They go handoff to Adams, and he broke through an arm tackle and will get the first down with ease. Knights had a chance to stop him relatively early in the play, but nothing doing as he's able to pick up about 7 on a first down, and they're going to go quick here without a huddle.
I still think, Jay, they're going to set up a Cameron King keeper out of that.
Here's a give, and Adams takes the handoff. Wow, and he is wrapped up as Hernandez wrapping up hard. Yeah, King did have that, the run where he ended up hitting his knees short of the end zone that, led to all that interesting ending to the first quarter.
I'll tell you, Sergio Hernandez, number 25 for Irondale, he's been in on quite a few tackles here tonight. He's had a good game tackling.
King throwing out into the flat left side. Brown broke through a tackle, but the second guy gets him inside the 5 at about the 3. There is a flag down. Illegal shift against Cooper. So wipe out that game. The penalties has probably been the one thing tonight that they are not so pleased with. I think he's saying the motion man wasn't set.
We talk about penalties. Well, you got to remember there was an interception return for a touchdown negated because of a penalty. On Irondale's side, they ran into the kicker, and instead of a missed field goal and 0 points, ended up being 8 points out of it with the touchdown and the 2-point conversion. So costly penalties really on both sides.
2nd and goal here now for Cooper. King floating it out, complete.
Oh, what a play.
But a nice tackle as they're able to deny Adams, and only a minimal gain on the play.
How about Ronnie Trask, number 79 for Irondale, big lineman, reading that screen and hustling out there and making a great tackle. That was an athletic play for the big fella. Great, great job. You're taught as a defensive lineman, if you feel that pressure, kind of the offensive lineman letting you go, look for that screen. He did a great job. He got his head around, made a really athletic play.
Timeout taken here as Cooper decide what to do here. Again, obviously field goal would be a possibility, if depending on what you do on 3rd down here, but you don't necessarily have to go for it all. You're looking at 4 down territory if you like it that way.
Yeah, I think Cooper's had success. If they go 4 wide receivers, you keep C.J. Adams in the backfield, spread that defense out, maybe try running the football, getting 6 to 8 yards, and then you set up a 4th down, 4th and 4, 4th and 5. Otherwise, they've had success too with Cameron King, just shotgun and looking at his receivers. That comes back to having that whole playbook available. You got so many options if you're Cooper.
Well, and you talked about something that you kind of start to take for granted, but the pass protection. So many of these teams, in 7-on-7, everything looks so good. We can throw the ball, we can sling it around, and then you get out in the regular season, and if you can't protect, well, then all that stuff kind of goes out the window. But
there's been no quarterback pressure, no hits. He's looking again all the time in the world.
King throwing, it is complete, but short of the end zone.
Ooh.
As Sproles coming back to meet that ball nicely.
Yeah, nice throw. And again, Cameron King eyeing his receiver, has a time. Look at that arm strength. I thought he was pretty close to that end zone. Maybe just, about a foot short, right where they're going to mark it. So big play, and that's going to set up again behind that big offensive line. You got to think you're going to have C.J. Adams running right up the middle.
Here's where being pretty much an exclusive shotgun team
can hurt you
Yeah,
sometimes.
I always wonder about, if that takes away some of the things that you maybe would have done in the past. Here's Adams taking the handoff. He'll get into the end zone with ease for the touchdown. So we talked about 4-down territory, and when you get 11 yards on that 3rd down play, it makes it a pretty easy decision to go for it.
Yeah, and to your point too, Jay, I agree with you. When you go shotgun, when you only need a foot, you're giving that defensive line that extra 3 or 4 yards to maybe get penetration into the backfield. But Cooper's offensive line right now, their physicality level is extremely high. They are manhandling that front 4. And C.J. Adams, as slippery as he is, he just shoots right through that A-gap, easy touchdown. And the Cooper Hawks are rolling.
Ogamba on for the extra point attempt. His kick is up, and it is good. And with 5:48 to go here in the 2nd quarter, it becomes 28-0 Hawks.
Yeah, here's that touchdown run again behind that offensive line. Irondale you could see Hernandez was coming there. You got to lay out, right? You got to do anything you can to not let him get in the end zone. They had a chance to maybe get a hit on Adams, but doesn't elect to take it. Adams fires through, and that's how you finish a run as a running back, too. He finished 7-8 yards deep in the end zone. You love to see that. There's Tellis Redmond, their running back coach, former great running back, teammate of mine with the Golden Gophers. He's talking to him right there, and you can tell they got some good running backs, talented running backs, and they're a lot of fun to watch. That offense fun to watch. You know how many times, Jay, do you do a football game and you're talking about a team and they got one strength. They run the ball with this one guy. And if you take that away, they become nothing. With Cooper, it's like, okay, we're going to take C.J. Adams away, but all of a sudden, Cameron King kills you in the passing game. Okay, we're going to really sell out to stop the pass. All of a sudden, C.J. Adams has 3 touchdowns. So you almost pick your poison. What do you want to try to take away? And Cooper just is so diverse and such good balance.
Ogamba's kick will be taken by Sears. And he is brought down right about where the last return went, to about the 23-yard line or so. Cooper's done a nice job of, obviously they had touchbacks on the first couple, but keeping, lane discipline there. So the return man has never been able to get ahead of steam going. He's coming forward and kind of having to look around for any opening.
Well, not only that, but I don't believe Irondale's ran a play in Cooper's side of the territory yet, have they?
No, I don't think so.
So give Cooper's defense, too, a lot of credit. They've just made this a short field for their offense all night long. And, offense feeds off of defense. There's no question. The ball's
loose as White had it poked away. It looks like the Knights will get it back. I don't think he saw that hand coming. He was looking, kind of looking forward for where he was going to run, and all of a sudden a hand reached out and jabbed it out of there. But Irondale fortunate to get it back.
Yeah, heads-up play, too, by number 84, Jacob Zaweg. Watch him see this. You can see he's blocking. All of a sudden he gets on that ball, and that's a huge play for him to get on that. Otherwise, you got Cooper ball at the 20-yard line. So right now, Irondale just needs to get their confidence. They need to get a big play just to say, hey, we can move the ball against these guys.
Clark taking the handoff, and Clark getting a nice run out over the 40. And there's exactly what you were saying they needed. And haven't run the ball particularly effectively tonight, but they certainly did right there, and a gain of about 17 and a first down for Clark.
Yeah, and good job. Offensive line opened it up. Nice patience by Clark. Watch this cut, too. You can see it starting outside, and he cuts right there. And a big block, too, by number 78, and he turns it upfield. He's got some good speed. Maybe that's the spark that offense needs to maybe get back into rhythm here and see if they can continue this drive.
White throwing out to the left side, a nice leaping grab, and Price is ridden down, and now they are into Cooper territory.
Well, Price has had 2 catches tonight. That one was very athletic. That ball was high, and he just went up and grabbed it, and not only that, but came down and got some extra yards after the catch, too. Athletic play. And a nice start to this drive. I tell you, with 4.5 minutes left in this first half, how big for Irondale maybe to put a drive together and put 7 on the board.
17-yard pickup that time on the hookup from White to Price. White will come back the other way this time. Finds Sutherland, makes the first man miss. And down the sideline he goes before he is knocked out of bounds, just inside the 20 at about the 18. So give him 24 more on that gainer.
And what I like, too, those are nice, quick, easy throws. So, that's how you get your rhythm back. Nice, easy throw. Sutherland just does a nice job. That's a great move. Look at him make his guy miss. these receivers have been good. You got to give them a chance. Get them the ball in space where they can make moves like that. Nice momentum, nice drive right now for Irondale, and it's really imperative that they punch this in for 7 from a confidence standpoint.
From the Cooper 19, they go to Clark on the handoff. A big gap to run through there. Lots of guys in blue then drive him down hard, but a pretty well blocked initial opportunity there for Clark, and he's going to gain about 8.
And see how they're getting right back to the line. They know they got the rhythm right now. Good balance. Cooper's not able to load that box, so you're keeping that defense off balance a little bit. Couple of nice runs, a couple of quick, easy throws, and just like that, you got a chance here to punch it in.
White looking left, throws a fade and incomplete, but flags everywhere. That one's going to be interference. So he looked to go out there to Price, and they got a little grabby on him there, and more than one guy saw it.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, that's a great throw. Brendan White put that where only his guy could make a play on that. That ball gets underthrown and might be picked off. He put it deep, high into the outside, and an excellent route, and again, contact there before the ball got there. Easy call for the referees to make.
Omusu whistled for that one. You know, you obviously don't like to take a penalty, but it is better than giving up the touchdown there.
Absolutely. Especially in high school football, because you don't get an automatic first down on pass interference in high school, even though it was first down, so it'll remain first down.
Clark to the left side, trying to get to the corner of the end zone. And, wow, getting there in a hurry and leveling him was Ante Burns. Just when I was thinking he was about to get near that goal line, Burns, like a missile, came and drove him down.
Well, you talk about finishing a run. How about finishing a tackle? It looked like all the momentum in the world. Look at that. 2 Cooper guy, that's how you tackle, gang tackle.
And another hard hit delivered to Clark here on that 3rd and goal play.
Yeah, Devontae Haywood, number 32, came in, and they're running into the big blue steel curtain, and they're laying some wood on these hits. There's nowhere to go. This is where you're in 3rd down. You're obviously in 4-down territory here. You don't got to get crazy, but try. You got some good size on the outside with your receivers. You give them a jump ball or try a sweep. Getting to the outside seems to have been the best for Irondale.
White rolling to the right and way overthrowing as he was looking for Sutherland. So a great drive for Irondale, but Cooper ends up holding on downs, and they will take over inside their 10-yard line. They bent but didn't break. Again, a nice drive for Irondale, but like you said, obviously with this score, you needed the points.
Yeah, credit Cooper. Credit those tackles too. Those are runs that Cooper finishes in the red zone, and in this instance, Cooper was finishing the tackles. No positive, forward momentum on any of those handoffs. So, again, but hey, it's a start for that Irondale offense. They were able to put together a couple of nice plays, sustain a long drive. They changed the field position. Now can their defense get a big stop and maybe get the ball back for their offense before halftime?
From the 4, handoff to Adams, bounced off, I think, one of his own guys there, and then driven backward, but not much of a gainer there.
Jay, Taheem Cobb, he's number 78. He's had a nice game on defense. He's a big body, 270 pounds for Irondale, and he's been active, making a couple of nice tackles there. He sheds his block, and he runs right into Adams, slows him down.
Second and 8 coming for the Hawks as we tick under 2 minutes to play in this second quarter. Cooper leading 28-0. Handoff again right side, and look out. Here comes Adams on the move. Adams thrown down, but not until he's out over the 30 to about the 33.
And you got the feeling Willie Howard was maybe content to run clock and just get out of here. Short field like that, they run the ball again up the middle, and then you get that big game by C.J. Adams. Well, now you got a chance possibly here to score again before halftime. I wouldn't be surprised to see him maybe take some shots down the field, try to get another big play. And remember, they got a great kicker in Ogamba too, so they don't necessarily need a touchdown, but if they can get him another 30 or 40 yards.
Thrown out to Omusu in the flat. Flag is down, and going to have either a hold or a block in the back out in the flat there as the receiver trying to peel back. Terrence Nicholson going to be whistled here. Yep, block in the back.
I saw that happen. I don't think that was a block in the back.
So back to the 25-yard line.
Yeah, you're going to see this. Nicholson comes in here right at the end here. It's close. You know, and that's a penalty that I think Coach Howard will live with when you got a guy trying to block downfield, trying to make a play for his teammate.
King throwing complete, but an immediate tackle of Nicholson there as he was wrapped up quickly by Frischman.
Yeah, nice job by Frischman coming up, making a nice sound tackle. You know, remember Cooper's first touchdown with Osseo was an easy tackle. They didn't wrap up, and that time they come up in a hurry. Great form tackle, holds on, nice play.
Under a minute to go now, 2nd and long as King throws, and that one is complete out near midfield as the Hawks will get the first down. Nicholson just into Irondale territory there.
Clock stops in high school for a first down, so they're going to be able to get their play called back on the line of scrimmage. 38 seconds. Now you're on a short field. You got 1 timeout remaining, so definitely looking to score are the Cooper Hawks.
King looking in the flat and then instead throws over the middle and incomplete as he was trying to find Brown in the seam between the defenders there, and I think he was expecting Brown maybe to kind of sit down in that one spot, and he kept on moving.
Dragging across the middle there. Well, they ran a little flare for Osseo that time, and he faked it, and they were expecting maybe that defense to come out and honor that. They didn't do it. But, hey, not a bad play. It's incomplete. You stop the clock. You don't have to use your timeout. Now you can take your time, get everything set, get the play you want. And I'm thinking you got it. You don't need a home run here, but you got to get the first down. Remember, that clock will stop. Maybe they can spike it. They do have 1 timeout remaining as well.
24 seconds, all that's left here, though, for Cooper. 2nd and 10 from the Knights' 49. Floats it out and complete. Here comes Adams trying to get to the outside. He will get out of bounds after a pickup of about 7, but we're down to 15 seconds to go.
Yeah, good coverage down the field. The secondary that time doing a nice job. 4 wide receivers, nothing there. And Cameron King dumps it out to his safety blanket, C.J. Adams, and a lot of space between C.J. and that defender, and he does a smart job of getting out of bounds. It's a tough pass to catch. This ball is floated high up into the air. You're running after it. You feel that defense is going to come and get you. That's not an easy catch. He made it look pretty easy there.
Now King rolling to the right and incomplete over the head of Nicholson. And so now they're down to 11 seconds to go, and it's going to be 4th down.
That's a big play, right? They complete that. That's a first down. Clock stops. Now you got 4th down, so your first concern is, you know, just getting the first down here.
And they are, you know, in this spot on the field, in this time situation, really no reason not to go for it here.
And again, there's plenty of time. Get the first down, you get a timeout, and then you maybe have a time for 1 shot at the end zone or at least a field goal.
So here we go, 4th down play. King looking down the middle, batted and incomplete as Hernandez getting his hand on that one.
Hernandez has had a heck of a first half. He's been in on a lot of tackles. This was a great effort. Look at that effort, batting it down with his left hand. If he doesn't bat that down, there's plenty of space there. That could have turned into an even bigger play. And Irondale does their job here. They hold.
Yeah, and looking at that one again, it was an accurate throw and was going to be a completion for sure. Nice job by Hernandez to get back to it.
And they clearly would have been in Ogamba's field goal range, too, if that had been completed. So big-time play by Hernandez, athletic play.
Just 7 seconds to go in this first half, and now they come back to that. Sutherland wants to throw it, and he does. Launch it downfield and intercepted. Sproles with the pickoff. Time has run out. He has to get to the end zone. He won't, but it's an interception for Cooper's Phoenix Sproles right before halftime. And so We come to halftime of this one. It's been a great start for the home team. Cooper 28, Irondale nothing. Well, first half highlights and then our second half of football here on 12 Sports.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
I rescued Toast from a shelter in 2011. I love Toast because she's a lazy diva. Toast does whatever she wants, obviously. She's sleeping right now. She's an epic snuggler. She's so comforting. She's so loving. Toast makes me laugh. When I walked into the shelter, I knew right then that she was special.
Welcome back here to Cooper High School. It is Section 5 semifinal football. Cooper leading 28-0 as we check out some first half highlights. Starting with a big play right off the bat as Pedro Amusu goes 52 yards for the touchdown. Just under 2 minutes into the game, and Cooper gets on the board right away. Not a bad tone setter, and then this was pretty good too.
Yeah, Irondale goes 3 and out right after that, and you can see Phoenix Sproles picks it up, and kind of we talked about that was a gamble to pick up that punt, but it certainly paid off. He gets him down and gets great field position for Cooper.
All the way down to the 12, and that was finished off on a C.J. Adams tough 3-yard run there for the Hawks, and they were up quickly in the game 13-zip. Nice catch here, and then watch the blasting hit as Clark was rocked as he got to the sideline, but popped right back up. And then Ogamba missing a field goal, but he's run into, so they get another opportunity. They get a first down on a personal foul there, and they punch it on in as Adams just barely getting over before his knee hits there. That's the ruling anyway, so a touchdown for the Hawks, and then
it's not the same play.
No, that was another one. That was a 4th and goal there, right, as well. So see that Cooper's pretty much dominated the stats for the most part.
Well, I'll tell you, you look offensively, you see 249 yards. That's very impressive. But I've been really impressed with Cooper's defense. I thought they've done a nice job really shutting down the run. I'd say the majority of those 93 yards were on that last drive that Irondale had before the half, and they had it down on the goal line area, just were unable to get any points out of it. So maybe that's enough momentum. Maybe they saw maybe a few adjustments that Irondale made. Maybe they can start moving the ball and got to turn those yards into points.
So Cooper in command here at halftime as they try and get a rematch with Spring Lake Park. The Knights will try and bounce back in the second half. 28-0 Hawks. We'll be back with more football here in New Hope.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally.
Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls. But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected.
And welcome back here as the Cooper Hawks getting set to begin half number 2. A very efficient first half for them. I mean, takeaways, obviously penalties were one thing that they didn't do especially well, but other than that, they were sharp in most phases of the game here.
Their execution was really sharp, I thought. And remember, too, they had an interception return for a touchdown by Ante Burns negated because of a penalty. So, 28-0 really could be 35-0. I thought maybe they could have tried a long shot there in the end zone at the end of that drive to maybe get one more score. So I think if you're Irondale, you're thinking, 28, we can do this. It's nothing we can't overcome. And, again, Irondale, they're going to kick off here to start. So their defense needs to come up, get the ball back in their offense. Their offense found a little something on that last drive, Jay. And otherwise, if Cooper is able to march down right here and get another score, you kind of get that feeling like this might be over then. I'll tell you, playoffs, you know, in football in general, more I think than any other sport, it's really about adjustments. You know, you get all your coaches together, guys that are watching up in the booth, you know, by us up here, and what did you see? What changes can we make? Are there different routes, different blitzes, different coverages, whatever it might be? And usually the teams that adjust and can turn that into execution in the second half, you know, have a chance.
Mann getting set to kick this one off here for the Knights. He's going to keep it on the ground once again. Takes a nice big hop though, and I believe that's Amusu running it back to about the 40. And he is wrapped up, driven back as the Knights are trying to pull that football free.
Well, what they're doing, they're avoiding kicking into Phoenix Sproles deep, right? But when you do that, you still end up giving Cooper phenomenal field position. They're going to start at their own 40. That's where you maybe just trust your coverage, kick it deep, and you know, hope you stay in your lanes, you make a play, and you get them back in their own, you know, 15 or 20-yard line. Instead, Cooper's going to, again, have a short field to work with.
King 13 out of 17 in that first half, and again, he had some great protection as well. King looking to throw, fires, and it's complete. Nicholson's trying to spin out of a tackle. Not a real big guy, but he was not eager to go down there, and he's going to pick up the first down into Knights territory.
Yeah, and I think 22 for Duncan Osindo for Irondale. He's given about a 12-yard cushion, you know, and give Cameron King all the credit in the world. You talked about how efficient and accurate he was. But those are easy throws for a quarterback. There's no pressure. There's no tight coverage. You know, so you don't have to be perfect on him, and you give up a 15-yard play there.
Here's Adams with a head of steam into the secondary as he is brought down by Freiberg, but it will be another first down. And, you know, if you're Irondale, you start to worry a little bit about, you know, if we had all the steam taken out of us by falling behind big in this first half.
Well, you do. You got to come out. You got to make a play. That's why I'd like to see tight coverage. Try to maybe get an interception. But when you do that, then you're worried about the athleticism of Cooper getting behind you and making even a bigger play.
There's a nice safe completion out to the left side. Nice tackle made, but it's still going to be Damian Gordon picking up about 7 or 8.
And it's all rhythm, timing. These are timing passes. 1, 2, bam. Ball's out of King's hands, and he's right on target. And you know, nice. They mix the run in with that, so you're constantly not knowing what to take away.
27, King throwing deep down that left side, looking for Gordon, and he's going to haul it in. He is inbounds.
Wow.
Nice job of keeping that foot in, down inside the 10 to near the 5-yard line.
Well, again, great throw by King. He put it where only Gordon could catch this, but let's see if he got a foot in. It was pretty close. Ooh, I don't know. Great effort, and they're going to give it to him. And again, obviously you don't have the fortune of having replay in high school football. That one might be a challenge from Irondale, but they're going to call it a catch. Great athleticism by Gordon. We've seen that in basketball. 6'4", just goes up. He can jump out of the gym. That's almost unfair.
Hand off to Adams, and trying to squeeze out of a tackle. It'll be brought down and around the 2-yard line. And it will be second down and goal. So Gordon just getting a toe down there, looked like, and obviously you only need 1 foot in high school and college football. Second down, goal to go for Cooper, trying to stretch this lead. King firing and into traffic, incomplete. Actually had a Musu out there way over on the sideline, and I think that was kind of as the decoy, the play we saw earlier, although in this case it looked like they might have been there and available for the throw.
And that's a play that Irondale, if they're going to win this game or make this a competitive game, they got to pick that off. They got to get that ball and pick it off. Instead, you live to give Cooper a third down from the 4. And again, it's not too long where the run is a possibility. They got quick throws, and you got athletic, tall receivers out top. And you can see they're going to spread 2 receivers way out wide to the right. They like to run a nice slant coming right into the middle here.
Going to go to Adams instead. Adams bouncing off a tackle, and he will get into the end zone for the touchdown. Cooper picks up where it left off in the first half as they quickly go down the field and score once more here to go up now 34-0.
And again, a missed tackle right there. You got to wrap him up. You get to him in the backfield like that, He's so slippery. He's not a big guy, 5'7", 170 pounds, but you got to wrap him up. He's powerful. He's got those strong legs. They're always working and moving. You get a chance to get him in the backfield. That's where you got to make sure you wrap up, hold him up, even if you can't tackle him, till your teammates come and bring him down.
Ogamba on for the extra point. His kick is up, and it is good. With 10-11 to go in the third quarter, it becomes 35-0 in favor of Cooper. So their coach was confident that there would be no hangover from a loss or any rust from the bye, and boy, it sure looks to be true.
No, and again, we go back to that last game of the regular season, that loss to Spring Lake Park. And sometimes it's just human nature to get overconfident when you're undefeated. You know, I talked to Mike Grant after Eden Prairie lost to Totino the first week of the season. He said, hey, it's the best thing that could happen to this group. This is a new team, new seniors. Sometimes you got to lose to get their attention and bring them back to reality. And they know that, hey, we were not quite as good as we thought. We got to shore up these mistakes. And you get a bye week and lots of film study, and they're coming out and they have executed to perfection here tonight.
And keep in mind, I mean, Irondale, yes, their overall record, you know, not so good, but you look at that they'd won 3 of their last 4 games and that they've been competitive against some pretty decent teams, including sticking with Cooper for a pretty good chunk of that regular season meeting.
Yeah, I think, Jay, if I was going to be dead honest, I would have told you I thought Cooper would win this game, but I would have expected it to be closer. I thought Irondale's defense would hang in there, but it goes back to the relationship between offense and defense. Your defense is constantly on the field. They don't have confidence in their offense, so you're forcing stuff, maybe trying to make a home run play instead of making the simple play, and they feed off each other. And that's what makes football such a great game. Is it really takes 22 guys, 11 guys on offense, 11 on defense, trusting each other and doing their part. If you don't, this can be the result here, 35-0.
Brendan White was 5 out of 11 in the first half as they had one nice drive that ended just short of the end zone. But other than that, we're pretty well shut down. White looking to throw here. It is intercepted by Burns. There is a flag on the play. Burns is going to go in, but this one again may come back.
How about that if he gets 2 interception for touchdowns taken away? Yeah, it's going to be holding on Cooper. Unbelievable. Let the kid score, Jay.
Exactly. Nice interception. And this one, a much easier run back for a touchdown, but obviously not right there. It's happened already. You see the flag being thrown.
Yeah, I think they're going to get Jordan Brown with some contact or holding behind him.
So Burns has got to be thinking, hey, what's going on? Tired of seeing that come out on that play.
How about this, Jay? The 2 games we've done, Channel 12 has done at Cooper. I think every time he's touched the ball, he's scored. Tonight, twice on defense, although, negated because of penalty, but he's electric. Well, and Irondale dodges a big bullet right there.
So they will get a first down out of it and out to about the 37-yard line. It looks like they'll spot it. So 1st and 10 for the Knights instead of a touchdown return for Cooper. And again, it wasn't Burns who, he was making the catch and the flag was already flying. It was in that area, but prior to the interception. Here's a throw complete to Clark. Nice tackle by Burns. And it will be enough for a first down, though, as they use Clark out of the backfield and able to pick up that nice completion for about 13.
Yeah, nice play there. You can see they ran all their wide receivers deep down the field, knowing that they were going to have Clark coming out of the backfield underneath. Excellent throw. Good tackle. Just a really good football play there.
From the 49 now, White under a little pressure. Throws again complete to Clark. And he is spun down by Brown with a little bit of help late there from Aaron D'Souza. But a solid first down play again for the Knights. They'll pick up about 5.
Yeah, and we're talking about those adjustments, right? They found something here at halftime. They're running their receivers down. They're taking that secondary with them, and they're running Clark just out of the backfield. Easy throws and easy catches.
Tossed out in the flat, but a nice tackle. And guess who? Burns coming up to put Jacob Zwig down after a very minimal gain there of about a yard.
What's the over-under on one more interception return for a touchdown? You know Irondale's going to be throwing quite a bit here in the second half. That's when you're a ball hawk in the secondary, you kind of like these situations because you know that ball's in the air.
White throwing on the run, up for grabs, and Sutherland comes down with this one in traffic. And he will have a first down to about the 24.
That's what you like to see out of your star receiver. Sutherland, we saw in the first half, didn't really, whether he lost his footing, got tangled up, he didn't really make plays at the ball. This time they throw it up, and he just goes up. That's a great play. Look at him elevate. He gets that ball at its highest point. When you're 6'4" and you can jump, you got to use that weapon often.
And the toss to Clark, and he is submarined down to the turf, and a strong tackle there for the Hawks by Devin Mosby coming up to make that stop.
Yeah, Mosby did a nice job. He was running deep with Sutherland. He saw that ball come out underneath. Left Sutherland, came up, made a really nice tackle. But already the third catch here in the second half for DeAndre Clark. We didn't see him he had one catch in the first half, so certainly much more involved in the passing game.
They go with the draw play here. And it initially had Cooper fooled, although Burns got back to make a play there on the handoff to Freiberg.
Well, it's a great way to combat an aggressive pass rush. Those defense linemen are coming. They over pursue there. It's a nice, slow, delayed handoff and a draw play, and they get some big yards and set up a 3rd and 1.
White throwing out, complete to Sutherland, trying to make a move to the outside. He'll have the first down as he is forced out of bounds right around the 10-yard line or just inside. So it's going to be 1st and goal here for Irondale.
And it's funny too, Jay. See how fluid Irondale looks now in offense? Sometimes it's weird when the score gets a little lopsided, some of the pressure gets taken off, and then you just forget about nerves and you just start playing. And if Irondale had started the game like this, this is the way they needed to start the game instead of doing it in the 3rd quarter.
Looks like
offsides.
Going to be offsides against Cooper, so 5-yard mark off. And for Cooper, it's only natural to, you see how big the margin has become. It's only natural to have a little bit of a let up here. So it'll be 1st and goal now from the 5 as Irondale looks to get on the scoreboard for the first time. Freiberg taking the handoff. Close, and he's going to be in. Touchdown as he just gets over the goal line. And Irondale has broken up the shutout anyway with a nice drive downfield, and Freiberg will finish it off.
Well, great rhythm on that drive by Irondale. I thought they executed extremely well, had a nice run. They had a couple of short passes and out of the backfield to DeAndre Clark. Sutherland made a big catch and just a good rhythm. Nice play calls, quick, and they were right back on the line of scrimmage. Just the kind of drive they needed.
Man on to attempt the extra point, and his kick denied.
Well, and remember too, Jay, they score there, but there was an interception for a touchdown on that drive as well, called back again because of a penalty, and Irondale capitalizes on it.
So we'll stay at 35-6 here with 7:11 to go in the 3rd.
Yeah, and this is always tricky too, especially playoff time. If you're Coach Howard, at what point do you start getting other guys into the game? You don't, obviously, we saw what happened to Bennett Otto, the starting quarterback for Champlin Park last night, leave with a shoulder injury. It sounds like he might be done for the rest of the season. So you're constantly weighing, are we up enough, or do we want to get more reps? You want to try new things. You also don't want to show Spring Lake Park maybe everything that you have in your repertoire too. So always a tough kind of juggling act as a head coach, especially when you got a big lead in a playoff game.
Yeah, I always feel like, you at least get through the 3rd quarter before you start to, unless it's extremely lopsided where you're just clearly, far and away superior athletically to a team. But see if Irondale thinks about an onside kick here. Now they'll just squib it on the ground as they have been doing. Burns taking it on the 28. Has a little space to the outside. Nice little shake and bake move there, and he's out over the 45 to about the 47-yard line. So Cooper getting good field position here once more, and we'll see them go back on the attack. They've been able to pretty much do what they want offensively here this evening.
Well, we'll see if this Irondale defense could feed maybe a little off of their offense. Now, the offense came down, did their job. Can Irondale's defense maybe gain on that momentum? And big play, if Cooper airs it out, they need someone to just go get that ball, create a turnover, give their offense a short field.
Hand off to Hill, and Hill is brought down immediately there as a nice wrap up by Mahir. And Hill will be fortunate if he got back to the line here. I don't think he quite did. That'll be no gain for Hill. And second and long coming up for Cooper. And sometimes, you know, the momentum can be a little bit elusive to get back after, you know, you've just been ripping through, rolling, and then you see your defense give one up. Not that one play means they're not going to just roll again here. As King throws, completes the Sproles. The blocker in front, and out of bounds he goes. Irondale wanting a penalty, but it does not look like they got it. It'll be down to the 41-yard line.
You know, and I think Irondale's going to look at this game, Jay, and they're going to look at not giving such a big cushion. Okay, so you got a kid, especially if Phoenix Sproles as fast as he is. You think, okay, we got to give him a little bit of cushion, but they throw short, and it actually becomes harder to tackle him because he gets a chance to get going. You know, I think they got to get to a point where they need to make a turnover. They need a big play. They got to press up. That's an easy throw and catch for 10 yards and a first down.
From the Irondale 41, first down for King and the Hawks. Throw complete to Gordon. Gordon quickly heads upfield, and then he was cut down from the side there by Sears.
And there's a flag on that play, too. They're going to get a hold.
So this one will be coming back. It looked like a good initial play, but instead it'll be a mark off against the Hawks.
Yeah, and those wide receiver, those quick throws, those wide receiver screens, you know, you're putting wide receivers out there. Everyone's watching it, so it's more likely if you do hold a little bit, they're going to get called. And that's tough, too. Wide receivers, they're blocking defensive backs who are mobile, and you can see that definitely a hold there. Those are tough plays on the receivers that are blocking. You know, it's different when you got 5, 6 linemen all in a big tangle. You can get away with a little bit more.
King throwing down the seam, and that will be a flag here. Looks like going against the Knights.
Well, I can tell you the Irondale sideline is going to be calling, saying that ball was not catchable. There was definitely some contact, but the question is whether that was catchable or not. And if you're Cooper, you're saying it would have been catchable had there not been contact. So that's a tricky one. That's a judgment call. That's what those officials are talking about right now.
Gordon was the intended target for that ball. And they are going to pick this flag up, so it will just be an incompletion. My first thought actually too, Ryan, was maybe is the defender just in his way, which in theory should not be a penalty if he's just no, he definitely ran into him. The ball was already over the top, though. I believe that's correct to pick it up as well, as the throw was had already sailed over his head by that point.
Well, and a good job by the officials getting together and talking about that. That's why you have multiple officials out there making sure they get the right call.
King's going to sling it long the other way for Brown. Wow, great throw, great catch down to the 21. Boy, that's a high-level offensive play, both receiver and quarterback there.
Great throw, and actually 2 receivers in the same area. Sproles was right there, but Jordan Brown, you know how tough that is, Jay, to catch looking over your shoulder. Watch how the angle, how he has to catch that. That is not easy, especially at night with the lights, doing that over the shoulder. Beautiful throw and catch.
Now they come back the other way. Amusu trying to make a move. He gets spun around. He comes back. I don't think that was that wasn't the right idea there, as he gave up ground and is going to be dropped back at, let's see where the forward progress.
That's where you just take a single, right? Instead of trying to turn it into a triple or a home run.
Here's the previous one.
Watch this angle. Do you know, that is so hard to do over your shoulder. You're basically tilting your head backwards. You can't see in front of you, and that's just great concentration. And again, hats off to Cameron King. He's been so accurate tonight and putting it in places where only his guys can make the catches.
Loss of about 5 after Amusu tried to spin out of trouble. King again, plenty of time. Here's Amusu with the catch, breaks the tackle. He's very close, but just shy of the goal line. And he will be down to the 1 yard line.
Well, he made up for that last run with that catch. Again, another beautiful throw. And you see the look on Amusu's face when he's like, I'm short of the end zone. I didn't get in. All that work, all that fight, and you end up about 2 inches short of the end zone. But again, just a laser throw.
King getting the play relayed in from the sideline here. Firing, and it is complete for the touchdown as Sproles. There you're talking about giving cushion. They're in the end zone giving cushion, and Sproles with an easy grab.
That was a great play call by Cooper. They audibled in at halftime, or right before that play. And how many times has Cooper ran the football in that situation, right? They spread Sproles way out to the right, and he just easy cut and throw. Nice throw. That ball a little bit behind Sproles. He does a nice job of keeping his eyes on the ball, and he dives as he catches it too. Beautiful throw, great play call that time by Cooper. They come right down the field and answer the 6 points.
Ogamba on to attempt the extra point here. And his kick is up, and it is good. And so 4:36 to play here. And Cooper stretches the lead now to 42-6. And keep in mind at playoff time, there is still running time possibility when we get to the fourth quarter, which can make a difference. You know, you talked about you don't want to get people nicked up in the fourth quarter, and at that point, you would just assume that the clock keep on ticking when you got this kind of lead.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, you're looking at it 2 different ways here. One, you're looking at Cooper building and getting ready for, you know, this year, continuing their playoff run. And if you're Irondale, you know, we talked a little bit just about Ben Fuller in his 3rd year. First year, they don't win any games. Each year, 1 game improvement. So you're building on for next year if you're Irondale. So do you maybe try to get some of the younger kids some varsity experience so that next year they're starting out a little bit ahead of the game for them. So it's kind of funny when you look at the 2 different circumstances and the experiences for each team.
And the Knights are a pretty young group. Coach was telling me before the game, a lot of sophomores and juniors playing meaningful minutes. They will have a lot of their lineup back next year. Ogamba getting set to boot it away here. Driving this ball, and it's going to get into the end zone for a touchback. And a good credit to this Cooper group, too, because, you know, they obviously lost some, you know, looking at a guy like Philip Howard, Levante Taylor from last year that were, you know, 3-year regulars, just kind of star power. And you see that and you think, well, okay, maybe there's going to be a little bit of a drop-off, but if anything, they've been better this year.
Yeah, and as good as, you know, I think you give Cameron King, who's a junior, all the credit in the world. He's been the best-looking passing quarterback I've seen in high school football this year, and I've seen quite a few games. And you know, you talk about C.J. Adams filling the role at running back, and I think it all goes back, Jay, to that offensive line. You got a big offensive line that can block and protect. It really opens things up. You have a lot of diverse plays you can run, a lot of weapons too.
White running it, picks up about 4 on that first down play, and yeah, it's easy to kind of forget or take for granted that those guys up front, when you're seeing Kings sling it around, you're seeing Adams run the ball so effectively, and boy, those guys do a great job up front for Cooper. White throwing it down the sideline into traffic and nearly intercepted. Is a double coverage out there and nearly a pickoff for the Hawks as Isaac Amusu had his hands on that football. It'll just be a long incompletion.
What Cooper's doing a nice job is they're trying to take away Sutherland. Watch this ball in the air. There's 3 Cooper Hawks, 4 in your screen. You know, I think if you're Irondale, maybe you use Sutherland kind of as that decoy, and that's where one of those other receivers needs to step up. They had success too, remember, throwing it to Clark out of the backfield.
Here is Clark, but this time he's not able to hang on. He was thinking about the move he was going to try and make and didn't squeeze it. Ivory Jones was there in coverage. We do have a flag down on this play right in the middle of the field, and as a face mask against Cooper.
These are the kind of things, you know, that's going to drive Coach Howard nuts when he's looking at the film. He's going to be really impressed with how they played, but to play against Spring Lake Park next week, these kind of penalties they can't have. And you got to remember, too, these penalties have negated 2 defensive touchdowns. So it's 42-6. It very well could be 56-6.
Wait, that's just a flat-out collision there as he runs into big Demetrius Miller. Didn't really wrap up. He just kind of bulldozed him.
You don't need to wrap up. When you run into a brick wall, sometimes you just fall down.
This was still enough for the first down, but White's going to think twice about that.
That's a big boy, Demetrius Miller. And I'll tell you what those guys do. They might not make a lot of tackles, but they eat up 2-3 blocks, and you allow your linebackers like Ante Burns to run all over and make plays, make tackles.
Pass complete, but the receiver's knee was on the ground as he made the catch there, Zwig. So he will be down at that spot, which actually is probably fortunate because he was going to get hit pretty good there. About a 3-yard pickup on that last one. Now they go on the ground to Clark. Clark running hard into a stack, and he will be brought down at the 45. It'll be a first down for the Knights.
And you love to see that. You see your senior running back, you're down by 36 points, and it doesn't matter. He's running hard. Watch him finish this run. He punishes his own guy here at the end, knocks his own guy 4 or 5 yards downfield. Look at those legs, keeping those legs pumping and moving.
There's a flag again down on this play. And let's see what we're going to have for a call. It looks like they're talking the Cooper guys, so it must be against Irondale. Yes, it is. And it is a hold against the Knights. Looks like it came way downfield pretty much at the end of the run, so they don't, lose. It isn't as bad for them as it would have been if it were back a ways, but
still, you lose a first down. You lose a nice positive momentum play.
And you've seen the flag totals against Cooper. It's hard for Irondale to complain much. They haven't had many comparatively. So 2nd and long now for the Knights offense. White throwing over the middle, and there's a flag down on the play. Did he make the catch?
No.
And it's not going to count anyway, but flag in the secondary there. As
Irondale's nice adjustment. They're throwing underneath. They're running their wide receivers down. They're going to see pass interference there on defense. And they're trying to get these shorter, easier throws. And that one, it looked to be pretty good coverage.
Oh, he had his, he had the left hand wrapped around Sumling, reaching out and grabbing. And
that's always, it's tough as a defensive back because you're there in position.
Yeah.
All you have to do is bat, but a lot of times you'll see him use that backhand to kind of pull down the receiver. And that's an easy one for the back judge there to see that unfold and to call that.
Boy, when you see it again, it's totally different than what I thought it looked like the first time around. He clearly pulled on him with that left hand. Nice run for Clark out to the right side. And he will pick up not quite enough for a first down, but a nice gainer of perhaps 8. Under 3 minutes to play here in this third quarter. Cooper dominating the lead at 42-6. White's going to run it here, trying to get to the edge and driven out of bounds close to that marker. And it will be enough for the first down as White continuing to show his ability as a runner there, but trying to get this march going. Pressure coming, White throwing it up deep, and it flutters and is short of everyone. And it will be incomplete. Cooper asking for an offensive interference on that ball underthrown, and clearly that was because of the pressure. White tried to step into it, and he got hit.
Yeah, and I think there's just too much elevation on that ball. You got to have that a little bit lower to get some distance. And, Aiden Price was looking for it, and I think Cooper was really, if the defensive backs could have seen the ball, they could have come back and made a play on it.
Hand off to Freiberg, and he steps out of bounds inside the 40.
He went out of bounds there. I thought he could have cut back and maybe gotten a few more yards there.
It almost seems like he's already thinking about we got to save time or whatever if we're gonna. But that's, yeah, I agree. That's at this score, you need to be thinking about getting as many yards you can there.
You know, you get 3 or 4 more yards, now you're in 3rd and short instead of your 3rd and 7.
White slings it out to Sutherland in the flat, trying to get a block out there as he squeezes his way up the sideline. Not quite enough for the first down.
Well, been really impressed with Sutherland. We talked, he had 8 receiving touchdowns coming into the game, and his ability to, his yards after catch have been impressive. They got to find a way to get him the ball, and even if it's a shorter throw like that, and let him make a play for you.
4th and a yard here for Irondale. Gonna go on the ground, and Freiberg looks like he should have enough for this first down. Came to a sudden stop, but he had enough for the first down already, it would appear. Yes, indeed, he will.
On these last 2 drives, Irondale's looked really good on offense. They've been able to sustain long drives, move the football. Nice mix of running and passing.
White gonna try and run, but Ante Burns is there to take him down.
Well, he came on a blitz right up the middle, right between the center and the guard, and no one picked him up. You see him come in there. You can see number 75 tried to get a block on him, and Burns just too quick, and he's a sure tackle. He's about as sure of a tackler as you're going to find in high school football.
Minute and a half to go here in the third. 2nd and about 13 coming up now for the Knights after that loss by White on first down, courtesy of the Burns tackle. White now stepping around the rush and is going to take off with it. And forced out of bounds down around the 30-yard line.
One time White did a nice job stepping up from the pressure and able to get outside and turn what looked to be maybe a negative play and turn it into at least a positive and set up 3rd and 8.
White, this time plenty of time, throws and it is almost intercepted. Ante Burns had it in his hands. He's caught 2 of them earlier, but they both were called back by penalties, and this time not able to hang on.
No flags on the ground. I think he was already thinking, where's my return lane here? I got to get into the end zone. That one, maybe the easiest out of all of them, right into his hands.
I don't think he saw him coming. He was, locked in on the receiver, and Burns sliding to his left. So a 4th down play here for White and the Knights. Throwing, and it is incomplete as he tried to hook up with Sutherland there, and so Cooper will take over on downs. Down to the final minute 5 of this 3rd quarter. Cooper was in command at 28-0 at halftime. They lead at 42-6 now, and trying to put the finishing touches and prepare for a second matchup with Spring Lake Park.
Yeah, that should be a fun game next Friday night. You know, and not having seen Spring Lake Park play, but just knowing that they're a physical, well-coached, disciplined team. But you look at just all the athletes and all the weapons that Cooper has, you got to think that's going to be a pretty good game and potentially pretty high scoring too.
Hill takes the handoff, and he is rocked. Hill's probably thinking, but just most of the time that I've gotten the ball, there hasn't been that much room compared to the other, just luck of the draw, I guess, and he'll lose a yard there.
Well, it looks like Cooper got some of their second string offensive line, a couple of their guys into the game.
Ticking down toward a half minute to go in this 3rd quarter. King's going to hand it off to Hill, and a little room to run this time, but that quickly goes away as well as Trask wraps him up. And that should be the last play of this third quarter. Cooper does not need to snap it again, so we will go to quarter number 4. And our score after 3, Cooper's in command, 42-6 Hawks. The fourth quarter is up next.
Hey, did you know 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Let's go to the shelterpetproject.org and meet a few who are in a shelter near you. Harlow, oh, she's one great listener who loves to hear all your stories. My kind of cat. Cerulo is a sweet, goofy boy who's eager to please. Sounds just like another dog I know. So go to the shelterpetproject.org, search your local shelters and rescues, and go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
Look at the Cooper offensive huddle here as we get set to begin our fourth quarter. Cooper all over Irondale, leading at 42-6. Again, the winner, which is going to be Cooper. The way it looks, it will take on Spring Lake Park in that Section 5 championship. And we talked about a couple weeks back when they're getting ready to play in the regular season that's been kind of the one thing that's really eluded Cooper has been being able to beat Spring Lake Park since they came into the North Suburban Conference together. And now obviously a little different setup football-wise, but still a nemesis for them. Here's King, and he's going to float this one over to the bench. Officials look around at each other. Is there any possibility this was intentional grounding? But somebody semi-near.
Well, when you get to the NFL, the ball has to go beyond the line of scrimmage. That one was pretty close. But either way, Spring Lake Park, nice job there getting a stop. You can see the clock continuing to run as we're in running time here in the fourth quarter.
On the punt here for the Hawks is Tony Madison. Oh, and Amusu is going to take off with it here. There's a flag down on this play, though.
Weird, you're going to get a procedure penalty there before the snap. Weird that you would run a fake fourth and that long. A lot of times you don't want to show your gimmick plays maybe before a big game too. That time they decide to go for it. Maybe you're working on something. Maybe you're trying to show Spring Lake Park something. It almost becomes a game of gamesmanship, right? Penalty's going to be declined. That's going to be Irondale football at about the 30-yard line.
I don't think that play call came from the bench. I'm looking at right there with that reaction. So Irondale will take it over at the 30. White looking to throw, fires, and complete as he is able to hook up with Price.
Really nice route, too, by Aiden Price. He's got some good height, 6'1", 165 pounds. He's only a sophomore, so they're going to have him for another year or two. And him and Brendan White have had some nice connections here tonight. They can build on that, obviously, going into next year as well. But I've been impressed with Brendan White, and Aiden Price.
Throwing it up deep into triple coverage. That one's out of bounds. And we get a flag flying in late. Actually, a couple of them.
I think you're going to get holding, defensive holding there. And I don't know if that second flag was just reaffirming that one or if there was a second penalty as well.
Pass interference call against Cooper. It looked to me like they were trying to really crowd Sutherland to the sideline and just got too physical in doing so. A little pump fake and then right.
Well, he's out of bounds.
Or not Sutherland, but Price.
Price was actually out of bounds when that play happened. That actually shouldn't be a penalty unless they're calling and saying they pushed him out of bounds. But
White gonna come back the other way, throws it up for a jump ball, and did he get the foot in?
Oh,
Yes,
wow, nice throw.
catch. Sutherland grabbing it right in the back corner of the end zone.
That ball, that's not an easy catch either. That ball hung in the air quite a bit, and Sutherland just using his height, athleticism. We've seen him make a couple of those types of plays, but let's see if he got a foot down. If he did, that's a remarkable catch. You see him, look at that jump, that timing. You can see there's the foot.
Oh, yeah.
Great play. Great throw, too, by White. Again, putting it high and deep where only Sutherland could catch it. Excellent play.
Well, now they're telling him to wind the clock, but it's shouldn't be in running time again now because of that score, I think.
You can see the referee talking to him, trying to get him to run that clock, but you're right, Jay. It's with that score, it's down to a 30-point lead. See if Coach Howard sends all of his running backs and receivers back out there to try to get this back to running time. But it's just a beautiful throw and catch. I would have liked to have seen that, Jay, early on in the game, wouldn't you? We just never saw those shots take place, never saw those big plays, and they've certainly got him here in the second half.
Well, you talked on a couple of them that there were a couple throws that Sutherland just didn't get his feet underneath him and really go up and get it earlier on, but he's done so a little better late, and then that throw is up too high and over the top as they tried to go back to him, so the conversion try fails, but it'll be 42-12 Cooper here early in this fourth quarter, and here we'll see a good angle to watch the toe tap down here.
Yeah, again, just a great throw, a great catch too. Back corner of the end zone. Sutherland's 9th touchdown on the year. That's a lot of receiving touchdowns in high school football, and that was an excellent throw, excellent catch. Well defended too. Just sometimes better offense beats good defense.
And you kind of see on a play like that, or the couple of the throws that Kings made too, that there is more to it than, sometimes people, I kind of roll my eyes when they say, you got a tall receiver, just throw it up every time, like it's automatic, it's going to be easy, and it's not.
Especially with Cooper, who's got some pretty athletic defensive backs as well. That ball was just thrown perfectly, and timing, you always hear timing, getting your rhythm with your receivers. That's a hard throw, a hard catch. And you don't get that by accident. You get that over hundreds and thousands of repetitions throughout a year. And then to execute it in a big game, that's a big-time play.
Mann will kick off here for the Knights, and he is going to try the onside kick, but well handled with no difficulty there. That's kind of the ideal way for that play to end if you're the receiving team there, as Sumling able to just stay on it.
Yeah, and when you do an onside kick, you want to kick it down into the ground so you get that high bounce where you get some crazy bounces. When you just pound it on the ground like that, hard, especially on turf where you don't maybe get quite as crazy a bounce as you do on grass. Watch this ball, it just goes straight and hard, and that's an easy one for the defense. You want to kick it down into the ground so you get that big bounce up. That's when you got a good chance of getting an onside kick.
King will stay out there. Hard hit delivered as spun down was Borden. And he is right about back to the line of scrimmage.
And the other difference too, you talked about what's the difference with C.J. Adams and these other backs was right now, obviously the outcome of the game is pretty decided. So you kind of know they're going to run the football. So obviously, Irondale preparing to run, maybe bringing one or two more guys up into that line of scrimmage. It's not quite the same balance that you have early in the game.
Another handoff. This one goes to Hill, Borden again on the carry, and short loss on this one. So it'll be 3rd and about a dozen for Cooper here, and they'd like to just run this remainder of the clock out and go celebrate a win.
You know what I don't wonder is if the referee talked to Irondale about the running clock and said, do you want to keep going? Because usually when it's under 35 points, it should not be a running clock.
Yeah, I was going to say, at the very least, this is different than how they did it at the Mountains View Osseo game I was at the night before, because it was a 35-point margin, and then when Osseo scored to make it less than 35, they did not continue to have running time. So timeout taken here before this play. Cooper band on hand here as we get set for Halloween. Some of the band members had some good garb on there for Halloween too.
I love the band. They get so excited. They're out in the cold, rain, snow. Doesn't matter. They're such a big part of high school sport and college sports too. The bands are awesome. That's what school spirit is all about.
King dropping to throw on 3rd and long, looking for Gordon, and that ball nearly intercepted as Sears got his left hand on it anyway, and it will fall incomplete. So 4th and long.
Well, they took a chance making a big play. Cameron King shows off his arm strength and extremely well covered. That's where you got to give Damian Gordon a chance to make a play. You don't want to overthrow him. Kind of similar to what they do with Sutherland and Irondale. Just throw it up, try to give Gordon a chance to make a really athletic play.
Madison this time will actually kick the ball. It's a very high but very short kick. It's going to bounce back toward the line of scrimmage and be down at about the 42-yard line. So not much of a gain, about 13 yards. So Irondale football on the 42. 7 minutes to go in this one.
And Cooper's got some of their backup defensive players in. You see Ante Burns on the sidelines, giving some other reps to some of their guys, seeing if they can make a play.
White throwing, and Clark has all kinds of room as they had sent receivers downfield, and they pass out of the backfield. He turned and looked, and there was not many players there in his way. So a nice gainer for Clark and the Knights to start this drive.
Well, he's been great out of the backfield as far as a receiver. And again, they kind of let that pass rush up, and they let Clark just kind of come right out of the backfield. Wide receivers are all running deep routes, so there's just no defenders there. Those are easy passes and nice plays.
Handoff goes to Clark on the draw, and he is dragged down. Got a yard or two is it.
Yeah, nice job by Cooper there, holding on to him, not letting Clark get going, because again, that's almost like a delayed draw play, even more so, where they really 2-3 seconds before the handoff. You want that defensive line almost to overrun, and Cooper kind of recognized that. They've seen it a few times, able to react to that.
Freiberg takes the handoff, trying to get to the outside on the right. Now cutting it back and wrapped up and thrown down. A nice tackle there for Cooper by Josh Bradley, getting in there to get a chance to play a little bit, and made a decent stop right there for the Hawks. Rolling right, to the left, and his pass batted down as Sumling got out there to get a piece of that one for the Hawks. They'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, I never understand that. You got a quarterback who's had a pretty good game as far as throwing the football. You roll him out hard to the left. That's such a hard throw for NFL quarterbacks to make, much less high school football, thrown across your body. Especially when it's well defended, you really got to be accurate and have a lot of arm strength to make that happen.
White going to run this one on the sweep left, and will pick up the ball. Oh, the ball comes loose. He was very close to the first down, and then Cooper able to knock it out. I think Cooper recovered it, but he might be short of the first down anyway. Yeah, Cooper's got it. Hawks will come up with it as a recovery made for Cooper by Cortez Bell.
Well, nice play here. You can see they got pre-snap motion. He's got a lot of room out in front, a lot of blockers. And spinning, trying to fight for that first down. You applaud that kind of effort. You just got to hang on to that football. You know, and again, Jay, obviously the outcome pretty much decided, but Irondale, remember they drove the length of the field in the first half, didn't get any points, had a couple other nice drives, sustained drives where they weren't able to convert into points. And again, on that time, a nice drive, able to move the football, and then it ends with the turnover.
Ivory Jones, I think, will get credit for that forced fumble there. King's going to hand it off. Physical run. Oh, this ball comes loose at the end. Now looks like they're saying it's down. Before it came loose there as it was carried by Borden.
Yeah, good to see Borden finally break through that line of scrimmage, get a little bit of daylight. Good, tough, hard run to pick up a nice, what did he get, 5, 6 yards, 7 yards?
Back to the ground they go. Borden, a nice little cut there, and he will have enough for the first down.
You know, I always struggled, you know, when we'd play against really short running backs, and Borden's only 5'5". You got that big offensive line. Sometimes you can lose sight of him back there, and if they're shifty, patient, and can make good cuts like Borden did on that play, they become really hard to tackle because you can't see them and you don't know where they are, and they're shifty, and when you do hit them, you really got to tackle them low because they got such a low center of gravity.
2 unsportsmanlike conducts called against Irondale after that play. You see the referee, he didn't lose his hat. He threw it because he'd already thrown his flag. And I'm not entirely sure that he didn't eject that player, or if not, at least strongly suggest that the Knights take him out. I did not see what happened. I think it was more something said. So it's going to be 2 15-yarders.
You don't see that too often, 2 separate 15-yard penalties.
Well, I think there was something said, and the flag was thrown, and then there was something more said, and he wasn't going to put up with it, and that's when the hat flew off.
That turned into a really nice gain for Cooper.
They're telling King, let's, you know, let that play clock tick down. No reason not to.
Oh. And what I like too is I think Willie Howard is saying we don't need to score again. Let's run this clock where we're just going to be conservative. After you get that 30-yard gain, it's more easy to score. Obviously, they're in great scoring position, and he's going to call timeout. Maybe try to get a couple other kids into the game that don't often get a chance. And I'd like to see him get Ante Burns in that game, see if he can get a touchdown tonight. He's deserved it, don't you think? After a 30-yard penalty, 1st and 10 at the 26-yard line, 28-yard line. You see a new quarterback entered the game.
Run to the left there. Looks like Trayshawn McMillan running it.
Only a sophomore. That's, I'll tell you what, these kind of reps are invaluable because obviously Cameron King's only a junior. You assume he'll be back next year and inherit the starting job again. But when you get a sophomore real game experience in a playoff game too, he's probably not going to throw a lot, but just to see the size and the speed, it's different than practice. It's different than JV too. So it's really an invaluable couple of reps here for the young quarterback, for McMillan.
Hill running it there. We tick down toward 2 minutes here, and Coach Howard's team will get ready to regroup and get after Spring Lake Park again. Ooh, and a handoff there as looks like I believe there's a flag down as Victor Henderson got popped as soon as he got that one. The Eagles shift against Cooper.
And Irondale's going to decline that and put it 4th down and long.
McMillan looking to the bench here. It'll be 4th and long for the Hawks. High snap, and he is going to be in trouble here, and they'll turn it over on downs.
I didn't want to give that football up either at the end. I like that. I like the toughness of McMillan. See a high snap. You got a new center in the game too. A nice job just to hang on to that here and trying to fight for every yard he can get. Great job by Irondale. Pursuit tackling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Irondale Knights in the picture there. McMillan says, hey, that's my football. I'm not giving it up. And he's still got most of the starters out on the field for Irondale's offense.
Gonna throw it out to Sutherland in the flat. That's the thing, I don't know, I hate to criticize Irondale in this case, but if the other team pulls all their starters and they're whooping you, and then you keep all yours in, I don't know.
And they call timeout. You know, I get it. You play hard. You play to the end of the game. You know, and again, they're building for different goals, right? You know, Cooper's building for next week. Irondale might be building more for next season. And any type of momentum, any kind of positive things you can get going into the off season, I think you'll take it, especially with Coach Fuller, who's building the program, right? Trying to instill confidence and really find any positives they can after a really a tough outing here tonight on the road against Cooper.
Well, and I think it's been a good example, too, of with Irondale in looking at their program and a couple of the others around, you know, in our area that where this district scheduling has been a benefit. I mean, if they're still playing the schedule when they joined the Northwest Suburban, if they were playing Totino Grace and they were playing Blaine, and I mean, it's tough to, you know, to build a program if you're taking some big losses along the way. Kids see that, you
get discouraged.
Yeah.
They don't maybe want to play. What's the point of putting in all the work in the offseason if we're just going to get pounded? No, absolutely. I think the new seeding in the districts, I think, has been a really positive for high school football. And you know, a lot of these, you're still going to get some lopsided games, but there's been more competitive games for the most part. You know, and that's a throw. I want to get back to that last play. Brendan White had his receiver open. He's going to get that ball down a little bit. That ball has a tendency to hang in the air a little bit too much.
Complete over the middle. Zawig trying to break a tackle, gets a block down the sideline and cutting it back, and he will be brought down inside the 20. And we're going to have another timeout, I think, taken here.
There's a nice throw, nice play, nice catch, too, by Zwig. And a nice job breaking tackles and showing some speed, too. He's a senior. He's fighting for every last yard, every last catch. And, you know, that's the thing we didn't really talk about, too, Jay, is, you know, what playoff football means is one team's obviously advancing. Another team, not only is their season done, but for a lot of these seniors, this is the last time they're ever going to play football. And it's a big deal. You start thinking about all the hours and practice and youth football all the way through high school and all the weightlifting and conditioning, and you don't want it to end. So in some regards, you can appreciate some of these seniors staying on the field for Irondale, and there's a great example. I mean, just pure effort right there, trying to fight for every yard, and probably a great thing if they, if you can go out end your high school career with a score, your last play. It's a good way to go out.
And I didn't mean to get on Irondale, because most teams do it this way. That
I know exactly what you were saying.
And this one's going to be picked off.
It's not Ante Burns, is it?
No, I don't think so, but it will be a chance for a touchdown. Oh, a little stumble, cut back. Nicholson is caught at the 10-yard line.
Oh, wow. Oh, what a play. Terrence Nicholson steps in front of the pass, and he wanted to get to the house on that one. Great effort. It just got tripped up, right? You could feel the buildup. You could hear the crowd start shaking. They wanted him to get in the end zone and score, and his teammates love it. What an effort. And he's got a big smile on his face.
I thought he was going to go, then I thought he wasn't, then I thought he was again.
Yeah. Right there, I thought he might get caught. And then right at about this point, I thought maybe right there, it looked like maybe he was going to be gone. Makes that guy miss. And just, excellent effort, too, by Irondale. And that's number 53, Taj Best, chasing him down. And
yeah, they just caught his heel around the 40 as he stumbled there, and that was enough to kind of slow him down. Cooper won't run another play. They will win this playoff game with an impressive outing. The Hawks winning it 42-12, so they will advance on to play Spring Lake Park in the section final. We will be back to wrap things up here from Barbara A. Lehman Stadium here in New Hope in just a minute. You're watching playoff football here on 12 Sports.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back here to Cooper. An impressive playoff win for the Hawks tonight as they take care of Irondale 42-12. And we're with just a couple of the guys. A lot of guys had good games for Cooper tonight, starting with C.J. Adams and 4 touchdown runs for you. It seemed like your offense really was clicking on a lot of different ways, hitting a lot of different receivers. How nice is it to have so many weapons on offense like this?
It's real nice because we don't just have a go-to guy. Everybody's our go-to guy. So when everybody doing their job, it's just nice, everything clicking.
Obviously, the skill position guys get noticed, but talk about your offensive line. How much do they mean to this team?
Offensive line mean a lot because without them, we can't do nothing. We can't run or pass. So them doing their job, that's the start of it. Is go them first, and then it's us.
Spring Lake Park, you get next round. Obviously, you guys just played them not too long ago. What's got to happen this time around for the Hawks to come out with a win?
This time, everybody just has to do their job. Last game, a couple people didn't focus on their job. So that's all we got to do this time. Just everybody just do your job, and then we're going to come out on top.
All right, should be an exciting one. Thanks for joining us. Have fun in that one.
Thank you.
And Ante Burns, kind of a hard luck with a couple of touchdowns that came back because of penalties on interceptions, but still you had a great game. How excited are you with the way the defense played tonight?
We played well, but we still gave up 2 touchdowns. I'm never too satisfied with that, but we played pretty. We played okay.
Coming in here against Irondale, they're a team that, had been playing pretty well down the stretch of the regular season. You guys kind of took control early. Was that something you talked about, coming out fast in the first quarter like that?
Yeah, we just got to do our job. If we do our jobs, then, again, we will beat anybody in our path.
You guys have had a fantastic season. The one mark was against Spring Lake Park. Are you glad you get a chance to play them again so soon, just to kind of get that memory out of your mind a little bit?
Yeah, it's a redemption game. We just got to play hard. We got to be disciplined and do our jobs again, and we'll win.
Ante, thanks so much for joining us. Have fun in that Spring Lake Park game.
Thank you.
All right, a couple of Cooper Hawks getting it done here tonight. 42-12 win here in the Section 5 semifinals. Again, they take on the Spring Lake Park Panthers in the championship over at Spring Lake Park next Friday night. Hope you've enjoyed tonight's game. For Ryan Iverson and all of our crew, I'm Jay Wilcox. Good night from Cooper.